All right, welcome back to Stumblin Forward. I am your host, Kristen Herman.
And I'm Monica Ortega.
And today we're speaking to Cesar Cardona. Cesar is a musician, actor, boxing trainer, and a Buddhist living in LA. His band, The Clew, has played all over Los Angeles in the last 3.5 years. Thank you so much for being on the show, Cesar.
Yeah, thank you.
How are you?
Pretty good. Just sweating in the summer.
Yeah, it's nice in the summer though. I like to be hot, so so not in Chicago. We get those cold winters. So, but let's start with talking about you. Tell us about yourself. Where you're from. What do you do?
Yeah. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida originally, and spent most of my childhood in Jacksonville, and then the other half in New York. My pops is from New York City, so I went back and forth growing up. And then I moved out here about 6 years ago. I just wanted a different lifestyle, different mentality, different whatever you want to call it, California. Which I dig. I like it. And then a musician by trade, self-taught musician, piano, guitar, trumpet for a while, but I think it's probably gone now because you don't use the muscles, you lose them. But yeah, that's mostly it. Teach boxing.
Actually, I used to play the trombone, and actually it's a difficult thing to get the lips like that, where you have to do it properly. So I totally get what you're saying. But I was terrible at trombone. I only knew how to play Jingle Bells, and that was it. So.
Oh, right on. Okay, well, that's an itself. It's embouchure, right? Embouchure.
Sure. Let's go with that. Is that the technical term?
The muscles you have to use to play those horn instruments.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I wasn't paying attention at all.
Yeah. I played alto sax, and all I learned was the theme to Jurassic Park, and I was like, I'm good. I don't need to learn anything else.
Yeah. It's I'm good.
It was my Grammy.
Yeah.
So what made you start just self-taught musician? I mean, I honestly can't read music for shit. I really can't.
Yeah.
And I give any credit to someone who can. So.
Yeah, I just within the last 2 months, I started taking a classically trained piano session from Bill Keys is his name. His last name is Keys, actually. He's a piano trainer. His last name is Keys.
He was meant to be a piano trainer. There's no way that he could have done anything else. His parents were just like, no, you can't. It's Keys. So.
Kid woke up already doing scales. But I'm learning now the theory and the read music, which it's nice. It's actually really helpful. But the last 15 years of playing music, I've only taught myself. I was 14, 15, and my mother bought me a Jimi Hendrix shirt. It said Hendrix on it with the Hendrix, and then it had a guitar and wings were coming across it. And I was like, this shirt's cool, but I didn't play guitar. I didn't know who the hell Jimi Hendrix was. So I was like, all right, let me buy this out because I'm not going to walk around some guy on my shirt. What if he's a Nazi or something?
That was actually really good of you because I think a lot of people just buy something and that looks cool, and then they don't know who it is at all. So buy the music, guys. It's probably good people.
Yeah, especially by Jimi Hendrix. He's tough.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I heard it and I was like, wow, this guy is fantastic. And he just influenced me to pick up a guitar. And then from there, I just started playing. You just find the patterns, what works, what doesn't. You keep what works, you discard what doesn't work. And it's just like everything in life, I guess, right? I just got better and better and better at it. Then I turned into songwriting, then I turned into playing shows, then I turned into getting gigs, and I won a singer-songwriter award in Florida, and then it turned to, all right, let me get out of here. Let me go somewhere else and do more work.
So did you move to Los Angeles with the plan to be a musician? Was that, or was it just you liked California?
Be a musician. Yeah, I didn't even have a desire to honestly, can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I didn't give a shit.
We're please do it.
I didn't give a shit for Los Angeles. I didn't know. I'd never been here before. I didn't know anybody here. What the hell am I gonna do there? But I knew that the opportunities were richer here. No pun intended. And I just wanted to go here. I wanted to figure it out as a musician only. So I just decided to come here, and yes. The answer is yes.
At what point were you okay, I'm doing the music thing, it's working? I mean, you obviously do boxing stuff as well as a side job, but When did it kind of hit you that you're doing okay in this and working in bands and stuff?
As a musician?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I just kept getting shows and I kept playing better, more known places in the area, and people, the response, getting people's response, they enjoy the music, they enjoy the shows, and the band members I'm playing with, these guys are, when they've been musicians for 20 years in their life, and they're session players here, and they dug it. Just the response I got across was nice, seeing that result. I could have came here and been like, all right, well, I like my sound. Nobody else does. And then I had to figure something else out. But I just got good reviews and good responses from it.
So you've been with the Clew the entire time? So that was like the first band that you started playing with, and then, or was it another band and then you switched over? How long have you been with the Clew?
So the Clew is relatively pretty new, about a year. So it's my band. I started the scale with my bass player, with a drummer, and then we just added a saxophone player. So we're getting started. But I started that band. The name and the concept and so on and so forth. Before that, I was just Cesar Cardona, playing shows like, there's musicians just go by their name, so I did that. But it's multiple shows, different jam sessions, jazzy, blues, funk, rock and roll, blah, blah, blah.
So what genre would you consider your band?
Say it again.
What genre would you consider the Clew?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, this is like rock and roll.
Okay.
It's rock and roll. I'd say, yeah, rock and roll. There's some songwriter stuff, there's some piano, softer stuff here, but it's just rock and roll.
And you write all your own music, or do you guys do covers at all as well?
Oh, we do covers nowadays because people dig it, but it's like peppered throughout the show. So honestly, it's about 90% my music, and then the rest is like Seven Nation Army, Purple Haze, stuff that everybody knows. And like, all right, guys, you dig that? Cool. Check the song out we did.
Very cool. Awesome.
So I saw that you did acting stuff as well. Like, how did that come into play?
Oh man, that was nuts. When I moved here, like I said, I didn't know anybody, so I was sitting in my truck for a little while, for about 2 weeks in North Hollywood, and just trying to figure out what the hell I wanted to do. And just from the sake of going out to bars and meeting people, somebody was like, you can just crash here, if you ever want to, but I don't overstay my welcome. So I was there, sometimes not, whatever. And then she was like, oh, there's a spot in Sherman Oaks that's available. And I was like, what the fuck is a Sherman Oaks? I didn't know
that was the first place that I lived in LA too. I was like, so I moved over so much.
It's so chill. It's so nice. And I got a place. I walked out to the corner and I started to get a job right there. And it was this diner. Do you know Corky's?
I've seen him. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been to Corky's, but I've heard of it.
Yeah.
And they closed down a couple months back. So, but I worked there first, like the first month I got here. And I was walking about through wait my table. Some guy walked up to me. He's like, you're an actor, aren't you? I said, I'm not an actor, brother. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. You're the wrong guy. And he just kept talking to me about acting. And it turned out he was a director. And he had me he talked me into being in one of his shorts.
Nice.
I was like, all right, fine, whatever. I'll do it. I didn't think anything of it. At first I thought he was flirting. I was like, I'm sorry, homie, you got the wrong person. More power to you, man. But now I'm good, And then, so from there, I really, really enjoyed it. And he's like, all right, here's a list of some theaters some schools if you want to go to. And from there, I went to the Beverly Hills Playhouse Theater School.
That's a good playhouse. It's a top end, like one of those places that everyone likes to go. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah.
So that got me to acting out of nowhere, unplanned, on whatever, and I dug it. And that's how I met you as well. Doing that
that is.
Yeah.
That's like the Hollywood dream people say of like some director being like, do you want to be in the film?
Literally. It's like, you're an actor, and then the person just walks by and they're just like, I see you on a big screen. What's your name, son? It's like, we're the same age.
We should be the intro for people to watch the video part of our episodes, right?
They should watch the video. It'd be more like facial expressions and hand gestures. Get that, everybody, watch the videos.
It couldn't happen it happened to the wrong person, because I was like, no, man, get out of here. Like, go. Like,
he just liked your look, you got the look.
I guess,
son, kid.
Yeah. You, my younger brother that told you that.
All right. Well, what would you like say to someone who's trying to be a musician as well? So someone who is also being self-taught somewhere and thinks about moving to LA, like what advice would you give them?
Yeah, do it. For sure, because it's going to make you have to be the best person you got to be. You have to, especially this place will make you have to be the best version of yourself if you want those results. If you don't, then there's something here for you too. If you want to do nothing, that's totally fine too, man. But you have to do it, jump the fuck in. And then distractions, that happens a lot. Focus. And everything else you do in life that you're doing in your day to day, make sure it's got some tie-in to that ultimate goal that you wanted. It needs to. If it doesn't, cut it out. If there's a doubt, cut it out, because you don't need that nonsense, man.
Do you like make a plan and like write out goals, or do you just kind of like take it as it comes? What's your process for music and career and all that good stuff?
I was the worst at it. Just play shows, man. Whatever. Yeah, we'll play and we'll gig. Hey, come to the show. I'll do this thing, this whatever, and we'll play and we'll figure it out. And that works well enough, but at some point you're just gonna hit the top of the lid because you have to set a strategy. My girlfriend, she's really good with that. She was on the news in the East Coast. She works at the newscast. She's a journalist, and so she has this whole mentality of like, you gotta, come across this certain way and do this, and so on and so forth. She got me into prioritizing. So now, to answer the question, it's like, it is, okay, by this date, this needs to be this way, this needs to be done here, so on and so forth. Got it. And I'm an incremental person. If you have a house made of bricks, one brick at a time makes the house. It's individual, but it's all together. So you just lay that one brick first, focus on that brick, do that, and then little by little. So
that's good. I feel like that's always hard to do, is like, for me anyway, to focus on one thing at a time and to set a goal, like by this day, it's going to happen. And, I try to do it, I really try to like write it down and set that goal, but sometimes it's tricky,
Well, you make a good point of like breaking it down into smaller ones. Cause what I do is I'll do like 5 years and then 1 year and then 3 months. And then you break it down to 1 week until you have a daily routine that like helps you check off each. I don't know. I'm a nerd that way, but like that helps me work toward the bigger goal and stay on track without just having like a giant goal and being like, someday I'm going to do this. So
it totally works. The way you're saying of like those small bites. Being a trainer, I have some people come to me who are out of shape, or whatever their goal is. Anyway, aside from that, most people's failure is because they're putting this big mission right in front of them. It's just one bite at a time. Mm-hmm. It's like, what can I do for this? What can I do for that? Jump rope. Just jump right now. That's it. Just focus on what you're doing there, and that typically will help. So yeah, I think that's just the best way.
That's awesome. So I don't know if this can be answered like, if it's not like a long answer, but when you're talking about like getting gigs and getting out there and like, you said you came to LA and you just started working. How did you initially get those gigs? Was it you door to door? Did you just like start talking to people and be like, do you need a piano player? Do you need a guitarist? Like that kind of thing? Or like, how did you do it?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. Yeah, there's a multitude of ways, and they kind of all feed each other if you keep exercising everyone up. First thing first, just speak it. Start talking to people. Just in general, every single person, especially in this city, knows somebody who's something. And you don't have to be pushy. Just start talking. And if you're your authentic self, someone's going to, on average, want to help you in something. Like, oh, I know a guy or whatever. So there was that. I just spoke and just talked to people about goals, ask them about theirs, and reciprocate too. Oh yeah, I guess somebody for you. And then also social media is fantastic when it comes to that. You want to find a drummer, you want to find a session player, go from there. So I met my drummer online, Nada, looking for a drummer, and she had she had connections to a bunch of shows and gigs from there. And then I just do my due diligence after that. And since my band, I told her I'll take care of this, to setting up the shows with this cat and this cat. So now I have a rapport with one person. And just like the first step, you start speaking out, you say what you want, so on and so forth. Now that person at that gig is somebody else. And then you have to just work that a lot over and over again. So it's a multitude of things at once that happen.
Yeah. Not being afraid to talk and say, like, you know, I'm a musician, or I'm an actress, or, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, and this is my brand, this is my business. And like, that's, you know, I think that's really courageous when people can do that, like, you know, really talk about themselves and brand themselves.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, absolutely. There's a fine line between bragging and just being aware of what your talents are, your confidence. So there's also, you have to be a bit cautious about that, but just speak it, start talking to people.
I think a lot.
You might as well use it.
I think a lot of creatives feel like until they're making a full-time living, or until I'm making this amount, I'm not actually an actor. I'm not actually a musician. You know, I found when I first moved to LA and people were like, what do you do? I was like, I'm an actor. You know, it's like, you don't even want to admit it because you feel like you're not at a certain level yet. But like you're saying, nobody can help you and nobody can really push you along the path either if they don't know what it is that you're passionate about and what you're working toward.
Not at all. Not at all. And that's and that first part of it's a fucking illusion, man. You just get into your craft of what you dig, and that's it. And you'll just start to you'll just shine on your own because you're interested in what you're doing. Then you'll automatically be interesting outward. That craft is just for you and you only, and everything else kind of fixes itself out. The moment that's the thing I would say as well. As any person watching this or listening to it, that illusion of like, I won't be until I'm here. Stop right then and there. You are that thing right this moment. Do it. Sit in it, own it, go.
Oh, such good advice. All right. So what's the plan with the band then? Like, where do you see it going? What's the goal there?
Plan is to help kick coronavirus so I can meet my bandmates again.
Oh my gosh. You guys aren't doing Zoom sessions and like Zoom shows? Come on.
We did a jam with my new saxophone player a bit ago. And my bass player has this big warehouse in downtown, and he lives in the art space, like an office building almost. It's huge. So we jammed from like 8 feet apart from each other. So it was safe, and we jammed from there. But that was a pain in the ass. I can't hug my bass player. I love him to death. Shout out to Red Collard. I miss him to death, man. Anyway, next plan is to set up these new songs that I'm writing and recording. I'm in the middle of recording. As soon as you and I were done here, I'm going to go back to recording and submit by the 31st of July to a solid handful of producers, managers, AR talent agent, and I have a commercial and voiceover agent already, and sending it to her to see who
super cool.
as well.
And so you record and mix yourself?
I record it myself, mix it myself, and then I just pay somebody online to master it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So how do you find yourself staying? I feel like this is a really hard question for a lot of creatives, but how do you stay motivated when you're like working from home and you kind of are your own boss and you're the only person that's really going to help you move forward? How do you stay motivated, especially in these times?
That's a really good question. I'm also self-employed as a boxing trainer, so it's consistently nothing but self-motivation. I don't know how the hell I don't know how anybody does that. I guess you gotta make sure that you really dig it. You gotta find the things that interest you. It's like, you meet somebody and you want to show them you're interested. That first push forward, it's got a lot of energy behind it. It's got a lot of intent behind it. You got to find a way to keep it fresh, and for yourself, and for whatever you're doing outward, whatever craft or art it is. Just keep it interested. Keep it interested in yourself. You got to stay. If you can keep that interestedness, I don't think it's a word, but interestedness up, then that's probably your only goal. That's the way you can get that done. I think that's the answer.
No, that's good. That's great advice.
So with your band though, and if quarantine wasn't a thing, like what is the really big end goal besides like just getting and hugging your bass player, you know? Like, there has to be something that's like, you see it in your mind, and I know that you probably do.
Maybe just on
just
stage.
Want to hug my bass player. The only goal is to hug what's his name?
Red.
Red. Where's Red? So,
you know what I want to do? I want to go to Hollywood Bowl on the stage and hug him there. And then that's it. And then I'm done.
Yeah, there we go. Yes. Hollywood Bowl. Big hug to Red.
And then that's the end of that. And then I'll go back to Florida.
And then you're done. It's all done. Well, that's awesome.
The biggest goal is like I just, when I hear Jimi Hendrix or Beethoven or Jeff Buckley or these musicians that I love so much, somewhat in the work that you get and the passion that any person gets from their music or their craft that they love, like your favorite artist or your favorite whatever, I just feel like that's been given to me from somebody else. I have a good talent of being a musician. I think that it's my responsibility to just pass it along to some other person, and they can hear my music and say, oh, whoa, I really dig that, That's the ultimate goal. So I have to go through these social norms of guidelines to get it across to people, so by social media and passing on and whatnot. But the ultimate goal is just to pass that feeling on through music to as many people as possible. But what comes with that is shows. What comes with that is touring. What comes with that is, getting requests for more interviews. What comes with that is all of those other things that every person is going to say. But my desire is, how many people can I pass along some level of joy to?
Awesome. That's beautiful. That's really cool. So where can we find you on social media? Like, where can we see your shows and when quarantine ends?
For now.
The social media, so Instagram is the first one. It's probably the best one to go to. It's the Clew Music, and that's CLEW. The Clew Music. You can find all the information there, and then more music is going to come out here pretty soon because I've been recording a lot. And then, of course, in time when we can play shows, there'll be notices there for sure. And that website, Instagram will direct you to everything else, the YouTube and so on and so forth.
Do you have stuff on like iTunes or like any place that people can hear yet, or is that the next step?
There was. I took it all down, and I'm revamping through the name of the Clew.
Yeah.
So now you get starting all new. I took everything down, so the answer is no, actually.
Do you have a release for that, maybe, or when it's going to be put back up?
Well, you just gave me a whole new goal now.
Yeah, you have to say the date, or else it doesn't matter.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I just give myself a date right now to do? No, I don't.
That's okay.
I'll just say August. August 15th. That's the date.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Well, I think it's good to have those moments of pivot too and like revamping things. So what better time to do that than right now?
It really is. I'm a big fan of Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey, and everybody's their own hero, their own story. You have to go inward for a little bit, and that's what this fucking thing is making everybody do.
You're the second person to reference Joseph Campbell. I feel like I need to look this guy up.
It is so funny. Yeah, because when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, Joseph Campbell again. Cool. I'm like, maybe I should look at him more.
I just finished You're a Badass, so I need another good read.
He is brilliant. The Hero of a Thousand Faces is a great read. It's a heavy read. It's what influenced George Lucas for Star Wars. There's that. That's massive. He wrote Star Wars. He kind of shelved it and then found this book, Hero with a Thousand Faces, and then applied that understanding of the monomyth, that one story that everybody's telling in existence, and applied to Star Wars, and then boom. And then technically the fourth and fifth Star Wars back in the 70s, he consulted Joseph Campbell to finish the rest of it all.
What? Gosh, I had no idea any of this history. That's
right?
Crazy.
I need to look this guy up. I need to book. Yep.
He's so brilliant. It's just the understanding of that monomyth that we see all these different stories in life, but they're just essentially the same. It's starting somewhere, leaving what you're familiar with, going into the world to find something in the outside, which is just symbolic of finding yourself inside. Getting that new information, that level of that aha, and then going back to the world or going back outward to society and giving them that information. We see that in our iconic spiritual leaders, the Buddha, Jesus, Allah, Hercules. The arc is the same. Luke Skywalker did it. The Matrix, Superman, Batman. All these character traits do the same thing. And it's just a symbolic personification of what we do every day in our life. Going out, gaining information, turning inwards, trying to be the best, and then bringing it back out to the world.
I think I'm going to have to go back and watch The Matrix and also watch like all those movies and just be like, okay, I think I'm getting it. Like it'll be like a whole new like way of watching those movies.
You will really dig it, I promise you. If you don't, it's a heavy read, that book, The Hero with 1,000 Faces, but you can also look up The Power of Myth, and it's just him doing an interview in '87 with Bill Moyers, and they're just conversing like how you and I are, and it's just beautiful. And then, you know, I'm getting conceptual about it, but also it makes the point that we are all this collective unconscious, that we're doing this whole breath of an existence together, and it's really fascinating.
Oh, that's so cool. I love stuff like that. I'm gonna look it up. I'm like super
fun. And I love how you talk about it. It really makes like me excited to read those. Sure. Like I'm actually just writing it down. I'm sorry if I look like I'm like, like, what's that book again? What's that?
Totally.
So that's awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Yeah, we're definitely going to include all of your links so that people can find you and get all excited and follow your Instagram so that when you release your stuff, they know where to find you. And awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. We're going to be putting this video up on YouTube, and then you can listen to the podcast on any good podcast platform, Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff. Be sure to leave us 5 stars, leave us a review, and check us out next time. I'm one of your hosts, Monica Ortega.
And I'm Kristen Herman.
And we'll see you guys next time.